organic industry.
Okay.
So a lot of our questions probably could be answered by Dave. And also, he's actually the owner of the SOS. It's easy for me to remember. It's a Superior Organic Solutions.
SOS.
Yes. Okay. So just let me know if you want to show that, or I'll turn off the light when you need it.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna pretty much go into a little bit of history, where I started and where I'm at this point, and then I'm probably gonna focus on what's currently happening right now and a lot of things that we're doing, and give you some science. And I'm not an expert, but I've been in the industry a long time, so I picked up a lot along the way. So I started out, I was a teacher at one time, and then through circumstances, I ended up being a stay-at-home dad for 4 sons, and then for a while. And then at one point, I said to my wife, okay, I need some rest, I gotta get a job. So I went out, and through a friend, I met a gentleman who was very instrumental in starting the NOP, National Organic Program. And that's through the USDA. And he had a chemical fertilizer manufacturing company and broke off into a division doing organic fertilizers. But he's been dabbling in it and doing a lot of research and did a lot of schooling on developing mainly concentrated liquid organic fertilizers. And fertilizer is not the most exciting subject in the world, but what I found out as I was going along, that it's pretty high tech. And the things that he started showing me about how to develop these types of products were pretty amazing. So I started out in his office as sales. He needed somebody in the office. He was 63 years old at the time too. This was back in 2002, when organic was actually a bad word. And I say that because we started out doing trade shows across the country, and conventional farmers just did not want to hear what we had to say. I mean, they would blast right by our booth, and there wasn't a whole lot of conversation. But over the years, I just saw the industry explode. And now, if we do a trade show anywhere in the country, they want to hear what we have to say. So it's pretty neat. It was pretty neat just to watch the industry grow. I started out in sales with him. I worked my way up to his vice president. We got it going pretty well. And I was a national trade show coordinator for him. I learned a lot at these trade shows. And just by speaking with other exhibitors and farmers that came in. And one thing I found out about farmers, they act dumb, but they are not dumb. They're very smart, and they listen to you, they hear you out. And but we learned a lot at those trade shows. But anyway, over the years with this company, I was talking to the president at one time, and I said, we need a distributor that really knows our products and is a distributor. The industry is kind of notorious in the manufacture of these type of products to sell direct to farmers. And we needed a distribution network, across the country to try to get these things out. So I had a brilliant idea to actually start the first distribution company, and I distributed mainly his products. But that transitioned over the next few years, and this was in 2008, and that transitioned into the company that I have now, which was Superior Organic Solutions. So what I do now mainly is distribute, and I have 3 manufacturers that I distribute for. I still distribute for my old boss. He's now 84, just starting up a new division, a new situation. The guy he's got plenty of energy, and he always eats the organic foods and takes his vitamins, and he's in really good shape. So it's pretty amazing to watch him. He's really an inspiration too. But it's him, and I now have an agreement with, it's a multi-million-dollar fertilizer company called Performance Nutrition. They're based out of New Jersey. And the way I got to know him, I was actually distributing for Ray, who's my boss, my old boss, and we had this organic polymer that was very, very unique, and Ray developed it. And it was, it has amino acids in it, and it has so many functions. It sounds like snake oil, but there's, if I give you the active ingredient name, which I'm not going to, you can Google it, and you'll see the amazing things that they have come up with. And I'm surprised even today that not too many people are developing this product. But anyway, I was at a trade show. Performance Nutrition president came up to me, we were talking, I told him about this product, and his eyes lit up. He said, I've been looking for something like this. And he started buying from me, and all that. I mean, he tested it for 2 years before I got my first order. They have a pretty intricate, laboratory. They have biochemists, microbiologists. They have all of that. So they tested it out pretty good. And I was struggling as a company, as a distributor. And I was with my wife one night. We were in a hotel somewhere. And I got a phone call, I need 15 totes of that. That was a 275 gallon totes, and I went, whoa. And so that was pretty amazing. We got to know each other more and more over the years. And just recently, I got an agreement with him to distribute for agriculture in the state of Florida. So we have the whole state of Florida for agriculture. Now their company makes mainly not certified organic, and typically to get a product certified for farming, you have to go through OMRI, which is an Organic Material Review Institute, and but they have some, but their forte really is in more eco-safe, eco-friendly products, and those products really, instead of leaching into the ground, they're more available to the plant, so they work more systemically in the plant. And there's a lot of different soil amendments and fertilizers, and we have adjuvants, some phenomenal products really. And I've been in the business a long time, and I've seen the snake oils and the different products, and so I was very fortunate to latch on with this guy. But anyway, I guess we can go to the next slide. Okay. That's my history up until this point. Currently, we're working with citrus groves, and I don't know if you've all heard of citrus greening, but it's pretty much taking out the whole citrus industry in the state of Florida, and if nothing is done, it will eventually. We will not have citrus in Florida, and that's the realism of it. But and so we are working quite a bit with the citrus groves. Okay,
just tell me
second page, yeah. All right, what I'll do is just go over, just some key words, things about the organic fertilizer industry, and some of the things that we do. And I want to get into a little bit of technicality on citrus greening. Our approach really is soil regeneration, and we're discovering that a lot of the diseases and viruses out there that are happening are basically bad soil. I mean, you got people that are dumping chemicals on these properties for years and years and years, and there's a lot of buildup of pesticides and herbicides. It's just amazing what's going on. But anyway, about 1% of arable land right now is certified organic. That's it. The other 99% are conventional growers or naturally grown. And there are more and more farms becoming naturally grown. In other words, they're not using the herbicides or pesticides, and they are trying to use more organic inputs, and they are trying to be accountable by their neighbors, which seems to be working out pretty well. A lot of farms are doing well. I visit a lot of farms here in Florida, and especially blueberry growers, and they're telling me all the same thing that you were saying. It's just so much of a hassle. And I'm seriously considering here very soon of starting a division of my company to help conventional growers make the transition to organic. And that is going to be quite an undertaking. It's going to be a lot of, what it comes down to is money. And so we got to try to figure out a way of helping a farmer make that transition and cut their costs. and still make money at it. You know, I don't know whether it be direct or indirectly, I haven't even figured that out yet. I just know there's a need for it, and I've been thinking about this probably for 5 years. And so I really, and I'll take any input from anybody that knows anything, but it'd be quite an undertaking. Organic sales account for 4% of U.S. foods, not a whole lot. Demand is now higher than the supply here in the United States, and that's why you're seeing a lot of imports. And just like you were talking, the imports are, you have no idea what these farmers are doing at midnight out there in their field. You just don't know. And so I just see that being a problem, not only with the population, but it's got to eventually get to government, and things happen.
How much is regulated and how much do they actually go out and they check?
It's so difficult, even our own farms, I mean, it's hard, and in a way, I kind of like the whole naturally grown idea, because you're more accountable. And you know, certified organic, great, you can get certified organic, there's a lot of paperwork, but it's hard to really know what people are doing out there. But as far as the naturally certified, naturally grown, you have accountability. You got neighbors, you got customers, and it's all local, and so I see that being pretty good. Organic Trade Association concedes that because of incomplete data, competition for land in some areas in the 3 years it takes to earn certification as an organic farm, it's difficult to know how many new acres of organic crops will come into production. Now that pretty much explains itself. Okay, next page. Okay, bricks. You probably know what bricks is. Bricks is the sugar content, and mainly in fruits. And there is an instrument called a refractometer that you can actually measure bricks, and that's the level of sugar in your crop. And we have foliar feeds that we have sprayed. Foliar feeding is actually spraying the plant, not the soil. You're not fertilizing the soil. You're actually spraying micronutrients into your plant, and they are broken down well enough where they are taken in by the plant. And using the refractometer, you just squirt some juice onto this little glass plate, and you can measure prior to fertilization, prior to foliar feeding, take a number, and then 45 minutes after foliar feeding, you will see the bricks level go up. So, so that just tells you that the plant is taking in nutrients, and you are building the sugar content of your fruits. Largest study to date to examine the nutrient content of organic food has been, it is generally more nutritious and mineral rich than conventionally grown produce. And you know, we're hearing a lot about that on social media. I think there's also more antioxidants in organically grown. And you know, and I come from the old school. I was like, I always believed that you need chemical to grow a plant, and it wasn't. You know, getting into the organic industry was just a huge wake-up call for me. And if I hadn't done that, I probably would still be in that frame of mind. That you need chemicals, you need pesticides, you need herbicides. That's the way I was. So it's just amazing. Okay, I'll go to the next one. Okay. All right, Pesticide Action Network. We believe that pesticides are a public health problem requiring public engagement to solve. Metabolism is a set of life-sustaining chemical transformations within the cells of living organisms. And I'll make that clear as we go on. All chemical pesticides act to block metabolism. And next page. Insects, bacteria, fungus, and plant disease are nature's garbage collectors. So basically, when you have insects and fungus and disease, it's telling you that there's a problem, there's something wrong, there's either an imbalance or there's a stress somewhere in your soil. So that's why you see them. And we have a philosophy that if you increase the health of your soil, you're going to start seeing insects and weeds disappear, because they are indicators that something is wrong. That's all they are. Usually nutrient deficiency or metabolic disorder. Okay, next page. here's the big monster, glyphosate and Roundup. Just in the past year, I've learned so much about this evil product. And I'm not really one of those types that raise a lot of red flags and use scare tactics, but what I'm seeing is pretty amazing. And Roundup has been used for years. I believe, and a lot of people in the industry believe, that it's everywhere. It recycles in the soil, it's in the air, it's in the rain, it's in you, it's in everybody. It is, and they had some politicians in Europe, I think it was England, I'm not sure. They all took a test to see if they had glyphosate in them. Every one of them had it in them. So they know it's a problem. It's being banned over there in a lot of countries. And I won't get into all the politics and the money factors, but
Can you cleanse it out of your system?
I don't know. I really don't know that. Like I said, it basically recycles. It recycles in the soil. If you do get it out of your system and you step out into a rainstorm, you're right there again. So it's everywhere, that's the problem. And I'm going to get into a little bit of science on what it's doing with plants as well. Okay, what glyphosate does is basically blocks the amino acids in plants, and that causes that metabolic disorder. The metabolic disorder basically interrupts the growth of the plant. And we're seeing with citrus groves, it's just a huge factor. The first thing that we're going to tell a grower is stop using glyphosate, stop using Roundup. But it's been such a key player in their program for so many years, it's hard for them. They just don't like the weeds around their trees. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But these are some of the amino acids that it blocks. I don't know a lot about them, but they're important. That's all I know. Okay, some symptoms: failure to produce lesions for pathogen containment, chlorosis, and it retards morphology, which is basically the growth of the plant. Okay, next. Okay, now lesions are basically lignin, which is wood, and those are the antibiotics in your plant. The chlorosis is a condition in which leaves produce insufficient chlorophyll. As chlorophyll is responsible for the green color of leaves, chlorotic leaves are pale yellow or yellow-white. What we're finding out also is that when the leaves of the citrus trees turn yellow, that attracts the psyllid, which is the bug that gives the citrus green bacteria to the tree and is killing the trees. And once those trees catch it, they start spreading, and it's just a domino effect. So a lot of the citrus industry is basically getting wiped out. And that's just one of the reasons. The yellowing of the leaves attracts that psyllid bug. Great. All right, next. All right. Now this was part of another presentation. He is the biochemist. His name is Frank Dean. He's the biochemist for Performance Nutrition, who I distribute for. And he's got a really nice presentation on this citrus greening, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you if you're interested. So I took bits and pieces out of this, stuff that I could understand, and I put it in here. Some of his hypothesis was crops had resistance to disease. They can now not control. There's an increased rate of pesticide application. Pesticides are really includes everything, includes herbicides and insecticides. Accumulation of pesticide reside in the soil, so it just stays in and recycles. Pesticides suppress compounds critical to plant health and plant defense system. Okay, I don't know if you clicked on that, if it worked. This is actually a video of a trial grove that we did in Haines City. And it's a 2-year trial using our citrus greening recovery program. It's 7 different products. And We asked, the first thing, like I said, we asked the grower to stop using Roundup. And then, there's
Well,
a.
how long will that take to get out of the soil though, once you stop using it? Like you said,
You're
it's
not gonna,
everywhere.
you're not gonna get it out,
So
but,
if you stop using it, does it really even matter?
no, actually, they're not even stopped, we can't get them to stop completely, but we do have a product, it's another polymer, similar to the one I was telling you about, that actually, when you mix it with an herbicide, it will stick on the leaf longer, and it'll cut down the applications by 50%, and it's still working phenomenal. So we're at least reducing the Roundup. And that's the first step. If we can eliminate it, that'd be great, but we're at least lowering it. So it does include 7 different products at different times. We have a humate dry product that has the biologicals with it as well. Mainly some nitrogen fixing bacteria. And nitrogen fixing basically is pulling nitrogen from the air. So these are bacteria that can pull nitrogen from the air, make it available to roots, and it cuts down on nitrogen needs as well. So I guess we can, what this was, would just go through it. Is it working?
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah, let's see. Is there
So
sound?
5 minutes, yeah, okay.
You got, there we go.
In Florida, citrus is a $10 billion industry and creates 76,000 jobs statewide. But a condition called citrus greening threatens this critical industry. Greening makes the tree drop fruit before harvest and eventually kills the tree. It's devastating to find citrus greening in your grove. Just ask David Garrett, who's farmed citrus in Haines City, Polk County, Florida, for the past 45 years. When he found greening in his grove, he thought he was out of business. And then he tried the Performance Nutrition Citrus Greening Recovery Program.
These trees were going downhill. They lost their leaves, had a lot of dieback in the tops of the trees. You could see through them. The leaves that they did have were very small, and the fruit got small. The fruit fell off before you would get to pick it. It was just a bad situation. Before we started to use it, the trees had very small leaves. The whole, well, they're falling off now, but the whole tree had leaves about this size, if they were that big. You could see through the tree. You could see the trunk on every tree in this grove. And they were just, I thought I'd almost already given up until these started getting the nutritional programs, because all over the world they've been fighting greening with trying everything and had no luck with it. I was as skeptical as they get, and it seems to be making a large difference. All this was last year's fruit. All on the ground, all these little black things were the fruit that were set on these trees last year that fell off. And this year, they're still on the tree. And this is the 6th of February. They're ready to pick. We'll get to pick them.
Waxy, shiny, nice, healthy.
It's a 20-acre trial, and we started treating everything the same way. And it's all I've applied Nutri-Smart to the soil. I've applied phosphites to the soil. I've applied humic acid to the soil, all performance nutrition products, and all the rest of the products have been sprayed foliarly.
After following the Performance Nutrition Citrus Greening Recovery Program, leaf samples from Garrett's Grove were sent to the lab at Florida State University. The results were impressive. Of the leaves tested from 3 random trees, all but 1 leaf showed little to no presence of the rDNA from the bacterium associated with greening. The grove recovery was confirmed at the DNA level.
The performance nutrition trial started in this block in October in 2013. We've seen a gradual response. Every month or so they look better. The color is improved, the leaf size They have a lot of normal leaves on them. When we started this in 2013, I'd almost given up. I was to say it's land, it's not citrus anymore. And the trees have responded to now where I'm actually becoming optimistic. It's hard to get me optimistic about anything.
That's very true.
But
This guy's tough.
if they continue to improve, we may actually have a future with these young trees. The difference I'm seeing this is a more consistent crop. You don't see many of the little bitty fruit now, and it's not falling off. You can't shake this off the tree. You have to pull it. Based on the last 2 years, I think if anybody is serious about staying in the citrus business, they should give the performance nutrition a try. The products seem to be superior to any of the other products that I've used. That's a really good piece of fruit.
Where is this orange at?
That one is in Haines City.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
We're also completed a trial with a grove. This poor guy was out of business, his trees were gone. And it was determined by the University of Florida to be a complete loss because of the greening. And we took it over on a trial basis, and after 2 years, he is now growing full quality fruit. And
The same trees, or did you replant?
same trees, we brought them back. So, and we have other trials right now that are doing well. So really, you know, we just simplified it. And there's people out there from the universities and everything else that are trying all kinds of different things, bactericides and injections, but what it comes down to is fix your soil and you're gonna be okay. And so that worked out pretty well.
Have you worked with Uncle Matt?
Yeah, we are working with Uncle Matt. As a
Okay.
matter of fact, I sat in on a meeting, and that's when I saw Frank Dean's first presentation. Very smart people. Actually, his name is the same as mine, and they were all like, where did you come from? So, his last name. It was a very informational meeting, and you know, they're very, very good people, and they are working with us on their organic section. They have conventional and organic.
What do you know, what do they use? Do they do a ground cover under the trees, or?
No, they knocked off glyphosate completely on the organic. Yeah, but they're just mowing.
So they keep the grass, they just
keep it
maintain
down,
the
but
grass?
They just mow
Okay.
it, yeah. Organic, the reason why organic foods cost more is because it's more labor intensive, you know, and, but the great thing about organic fertilizer, people have the preconceived notion that organic fertilizer must cost a lot, but it doesn't, you know, it's just, there's more natural ingredients, and they're more abundant. High nitrogen, high phosphate prices probably tripled in the last 5 years. So that's one of the first things I'll explain to a customer, that it's going to be the same, if not less, than what you're paying.
Talk.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to read this real quick. Basically, what we're starting, and I've done this before, we're going to do an organic, eco-friendly lawn care, garden care, and tree care service. Right now, I'll read this real quick. Lawn care covers more than 40 million acres of land, more than any commercial crop. To keep those lawns bright green and bug-free, Americans use 90 million pounds of fertilizer, 78 million pounds of pesticides each year. Other most commonly used lawn pesticides many are linked with cancer or carcinogen, birth defects, reproductive effects, liver or kidney damage, neurotoxicity, and the list goes on. There's a lot of money being spent on conventional fertilizers for lawns, insecticides, herbicides. So we're going to start again a local organic, eco-friendly lawn care service. We hope to get into the Windermere area, soon, and we'll be hitting all the different communities. But we just feel it's a huge demand for it. When I did it back in 2008, I was the only one in my county doing it, and the demand was huge. Once the word got out in the neighborhood, I did not have to advertise anymore. And I couldn't believe I was the only guy doing it. So I still see the same problem in Central Florida here in this area. I was over in the Tampa area, but I see it as a huge need, and we're here to supply it.
Good.
The end.
Thank you.